Howdy, the name's RexLink and welcome to Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones. I am very excited to do this Let's Play because this is my second most favorite Nintendo franchise of all time. In case you were wondering, number 1 is Emblem, number 3 is basically everything else. Yeah, no, can't think of a single game that's number 3. Everything else just blends together. But Fire Emblem, oh man, this franchise is, I love it, but I also hate it, and that's why it's my number 2. I would best describe it as extremely painful, but extremely pleasurable. That sounds weird, but I promise you, if you get into it, you know what I mean. Before I get started, I'm gonna ramble a bit, so if you want to get into the gameplay, I recommend you go to the timestamp on screen right here, and see you then. Alright, so before I begin, I have one very interesting question I want to ask myself, and that is, how did I get into the Fire Emblem series? The answer to that is, I have no idea. It is a genuine mystery in my gaming career. Let me explain. So, throughout my life, whenever I discover a video game franchise, I usually discover it through 3 different ways. The first being chance. Basically, if I see a pretty box art, I would be like, ooh, that looks interesting, and play it. The second being association. Basically, if a game references another game, I'll be looking into it, or a YouTuber that I like plays a game that I've never heard of before and I get interested. And the third being research. Basically, I would look into what kind of genres I like and just go from there. Look into it like gameplay, reviews, etc. and see if I like it or not. The thing is, Fire Emblem does not fit any of these 3. I didn't find Fire Emblem through chance because I don't recall any of the box arts looking interesting to me. I didn't find Fire Emblem through association, though technically speaking I knew of the Fire Emblem series because of Melee, but by then, Fire Emblem was still a Japanese exclusive series. And I didn't find it through research because I'm into turn-based or action JRPGs, but Fire Emblem is more of a strategy JRPG. So basically, I had no reason whatsoever to be interested in the Fire Emblem series. And yet, out of nowhere, one day, I went to the game store, bought a used copy of Fire Emblem Awakening. I bought a used copy of Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, and it was history from there on forward. So I should note that I didn't get into Fire Emblem immediately. I played it the first time, didn't finish it. Finished it the second time, still wasn't interested, and it wasn't until my 4th or 5th try where it finally clicked in my head. I was like, oh, this is the appeal. Yeah, so Fire Emblem Awakening is my first game. And since there on forward, I essentially bought every single Fire Emblem game that I can get. So I bought Fire Emblem Fates, all 3 of them. I bought Fire Emblem Echoes, and then I went onto the Wii U eShop to see if there's any Fire Emblem games there, and there were 3 of them. I bought all 3 of them, and as of currently, I've only beaten one of them, aka this game, Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones. As for every single other Fire Emblem games, I have not played them yet because I decided to hold off on playing them at all, basically spoiler free, so I can play them on video, so I can make the experience more interesting. Like, what's more interesting, someone playing a game they know or playing a game that they don't know anything about? But putting that aside, I will try to play as many as possible and record them on the channel. So look forward to it. Alright, let's get started. I'm gonna be playing on the hardest difficulty, aka difficult mode. From what I've heard, Fire Emblem Sacred Stones is a relatively easy game when compared to other Fire Emblem games. Though I don't think that's gonna matter much because, I will be honest, I am pretty bad at Fire Emblem. Oh boy, that was a lot of dialogue. And the text was slow, so I had to sped it up by myself. So I'm gonna turn up the speed and change the color to green. Alright, welcome to Fire Emblem. Okay. This is my 4th attempt in trying to record this gameplay because I am incredibly inconsistent. The first time I tried to record, I couldn't speak at all because I was nervous trying to record again after so long. After not recording for so long. The second time, I wasn't satisfied with the rules I set up, and the third time, I couldn't speak for some reason. So yeah, welcome to Fire Emblem, and if you've never played Fire Emblem before, let me give you a rundown on what these stats are. These will be important for every single combat scenario in the game. Strength and magic. In this game, strength and magic is merged together for some reason. In modern Fire Emblem games, they're both separate, but in older Fire Emblem games, I assume older, they are merged together. So strength/magic affects how much damage you deal. Skill affects your accuracy and crit rate. Speed affects your evasion. If you have 5 more speed than your enemy, you will be able to attack twice. Luck decreases the chances of you getting hit by a crit, and it also slightly increases your evasion and accuracy. Defense decreases the amount of physical damage you take, and resistance decreases the amount of magical damage you take. As for these other stats, I will explain them later. And this is the weapon we have. And this is how the math works. So MT, might, is 7. That's how much damage your weapon deals. So it's 7 plus your strength. So it's 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I deal 11 damage. It says so down here. Fun fact, I did not know this thing down here tells you what you're capable of. And to be perfectly honest, I still do not know how to read this. Like, what is avoid? I don't. Because of the fact that I didn't know how to read this, I completely ignored it like an idiot, so yep, that's it. I'm just stupid. So since I deal 11 damage, this enemy has 5 defense, so it should deal, hold on, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I should deal 6 damage. But since I have a weapon advantage, I get an additional 1 attack. So in this game, there is a weapon triangle that'll affect your ability to fight in combat. And if you have the advantage, obviously you can succeed better in combat, but if you have a disadvantage, you are weaker in combat. Think of it as Pokemon, where there's fire, grass, water. In this game, it is sword beats axe, axe beats lance, and lance beats sword. And if you have an advantage, you will have an increase in evasion. Yeah, increase in evasion, accuracy, +1 damage, and -1 damage taken. And that's the gist of how math works in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna play a little defensively. Because believe it or not, you can actually die in the first turn. How do I know that? Because, well, the first time I played this game, that's what happened. I immediately got a game over in the very first chapter. Ooh, crit. So what critical hits do in this game is you deal 3 times damage. So since Eirika does 7 damage, that means that 1 critical hit dealt a grand total of 21 damage. He does 10 damage, so that was dirty. Huh. Is it always like that? Oh, in case you're wondering why I'm not reading the dialogue on screen, that is because I just can't read. I might be on the spectrum, or I might have dyslexia and it just makes reading hard. So rather than trying to stumble upon my words, I just don't read at all. Sorry about that. I know there are people who don't actually watch the videos and just, you know, have it in the background, but I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like an idiot. That's it. That's all. Okay. Oh yeah, so you must be wondering why I was shocked earlier. And that's because when Eirika leveled up, a lot of her stats went up. So the way how level ups work in Fire Emblem is that they are entirely dependent on luck. It is not like other RPG series where levels are somewhat predetermined, but in Fire Emblem, every single individual stats has a chance to go up, but not often. Basically, there's this thing called a growth rate, where every single individual stat has a % chance of going up per level. So let's say luck. Let's say a unit has a 30% on their luck. So that means every time they level up, they have a 30% chance of getting an increase in luck. That sounds pretty simple, right? But the thing is, that applies to every unique stat a unit has. So a unit could have like 15% on strength, 30% on skill, 40% on speed, 5 on luck. The number varies drastically. And these are not randomly assigned. These are pre-programmed into every single unit in the game. As for what those numbers are, honestly, you will not be able to know in the game. It is recommended that you look them up if you want to know the stats of every single unit and in great detail, but I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I find it more interesting to figure out the stats as I play the game. Like, am I getting a good unit or am I getting a trash unit, etc, etc. And the reason why I was surprised is because when I was trying to record this earlier, she also got strength, skill, speed, and luck, and I don't know if her first level is predetermined or not. Nonetheless, I appreciate the level up. Okay, and I think that's it. Yep. Good. So for this playthrough, I decided to implement a special rule specifically for myself, and that rule being, I'm allowed to reset any chapter a grand total of 10 times. And why did I decide on that rule? That's because I don't want to accidentally softlock myself because of my horrible decision making. For those who've never played Fire Emblem before, Fire Emblem is an extremely consequential game. I don't know if I'm using the right word. Essentially, every single action you make, every decision you make, will matter from the start to the very end of the game. So if you make a wrong decision, it'll stick with you for the rest of your life. So, for example, let's say I have one of these units that I decide to invest in a lot, like give them a lot of levels, XP, etc, etc. But later down the line, they, I don't know, die in battle? That essentially means I wasted so much resources on a single unit, and I essentially don't have that unit anymore in the future. In case you didn't know, Fire Emblem is a permadeath game, aka any unit that dies in battle will die forever. And this is partially one of the reasons why I wanted to add the reset rule. It's so that I can decide whether or not a unit is worth keeping or not. So yeah, that's one of my main rules for this playthrough, and I might use the same rule for future Fire Emblem playthroughs. Let's do it, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And I want to apologize right away, in case you notice this. If I don't talk that much, that is because I am putting all my efforts into trying to play this game. Fire Emblem is a honestly difficult game to play. It is a game that requires a lot of thinking, and if you don't think hard enough, you're gonna lose a unit. Sorry if I sound like a monkey for a second. My brain just started to shut off for a second. Axe guy. I want to give him XP. She is crazy today. She is absolutely crazy today. What the heck's going on? I cannot believe I got strength twice in a row. Okay, let's see. You go there, you go there. Okay. As I said, I am not good at Fire Emblem. And that's usually because I don't think ahead. How fast are you, man? Yeah, so, I'm really bad at thinking. In fact, as of currently, Fire Emblem is the only strategy series that I play. You go ahead and finish. That's because I am way too stupid to play any other strategy game, whether it be... What is that one game that a lot of people play? XCOM or something like that? Then there's other games, or TS games. I cannot play that. I am way too stupid for that. I'll give friends the level. I'll put Eirika. Hold on, can they reach? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. I'll let her stay in the forest. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, I'm way too stupid for this. The fact that I immediately forgot what I was talking about is the problem. Alright, go for friends. Eirika's a monster today. What the heck's going on with her? She shouldn't be that good. Oh my gosh, she's crazy. I'm dead serious when I say this. She is not supposed to be this good of a unit. She got straight. Oh my god. This is the best Eirika I've ever gotten. He is a monster. To my memory, Eirika's stats are supposed to be good skill, good speed, good luck. Her strength and defense is mediocre, and this should be somewhat okay. But as I mentioned, her strength is supposed to be low, but she keeps getting no, she got strength every single level so far. I'm getting incredibly lucky. I'll let Eirika heal. I might use her to fight the knight over there. Nice. Why are you so strong? I'm so shocked about that. I want to give Franz the level, but I don't think he's strong enough. 7 strength. How much damage do you deal? 2 damage. That is really not good. Alright, I'll let Gilliam go in front. Okay, now I remember what I was thinking. So, levels. The reason why I don't want to give XP to Seth or Gilliam is because they don't need the XP. XP scales with your unit's level versus the enemy's level. And as of currently, Gilliam is level 4, really high, and Seth, even though he's level 1, he is a tier 2 unit, so technically speaking, he is level 21. So I do not want to give more XP to the high level units and give them to the lower level units, such as Eirika and France, more specifically France. Eirika is too strong now. Nice. Oh. Oh, and as you probably noticed, every single unit that I have so far has a... What the heck is going on? Every single unit I have has a unique class, as you see down there, class. And unit's class also affects what kind of stats they have. Okay. Now you're hitting something. He deals 7 damage, so I might want to get Gilliam to initiate. Good. Okay. Then I'll switch him out next turn. So yeah, every single class... Yeah, no, a unit's class also affects their stats. So for France, Cavaliers usually have average stats across the board. They have average strength, skill, speed, luck, defense, with the exception of resistance, which tends to be low. But their more notable traits is their high movement, aka 7 movement over here. That means they can go extremely far compared to Eirika's 5 movement, which is the average. By the way, when you level up, movement does not increase. Movement is entirely based on a class's, a unit's class. Then there's Gilliam, the Knight. Knights tend to have high HP and high defense, but in exchange they have low resistance and low movement. Ugh, that's kind of abysmal. As for Eirika the Lord, that's tricky. I say it's tricky because Lords don't have a standard when it comes to how their stats are affected. You can do it. You can't do it. Okay. You'll be fine. Yeah, so a Lord's stats are entirely dependent on what game you are playing. So you can have a Lord that has high strength, high speed, high skill, anything. Hell, even the weapon a Lord can have is dependent on the game you are playing. So it's hard to explain what kind of stats a Lord has because of how inconsistent the class is. I can rescue you, so I'm just gonna fight again. You'll be fine. But for this game, as I mentioned before, the Lord Eirika has high speed, skill, luck, but low strength and defense. This should be an easy one. All you have to do is hit once. Boom. As for Seth, since he is a tier 2 unit, I'm not going to explain what a paladin is until later. Oh, and I forgot to mention, a unit's class also affects what kind of weapons they can use. So Eirika can only use swords, Gilliam can only use lances, but the Cavalier can use both swords and lances. I should note that whenever I talk about a unit's stats, I am going purely based off of experience and prior research, but I don't 100% remember if everything I say is correct. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. So when I say a unit's stat is, a class's stat is awful in one area, I am not 100% sure on that. And now we gotta get these two. Now here's a mechanic that I didn't talk about. Constitution and Aid. So the way how Aid and Constitution works is that Aid allows you to rescue a unit. What rescue does is you basically pick them up. You can only rescue units that have a Constitution smaller than the rescuer's Aid. Wow, that words are difficult. So if I were to rescue this little boy over here, he has a Constitution of 8. That means I can actually rescue him right now because her 8 is 15. Before I do that, I'm gonna move forward. Okay, sorry about that. I had to do something for a second. Let's visit these villages. Visiting places is useful for getting either A, information, or B, items. Something I want to note is I think I've said this before. I've only beaten this game once, so there are still some mechanics that I don't completely understand. For example, the Constitution 8 thing, I literally did not understand how that worked, and it wasn't until like 3 days ago where I researched it and I was like, oh, that's how it works? So yeah, if there's something I don't understand, I will say whatever it is I don't understand. Let's rescue her. I mean him. Wait, since we got new unit classes, let's talk about them. So, well, what was that? Huh. So if you're carrying someone, it reduces your skill and speed. That I did not know. See, there you go. Look at that. New mechanics. What should I do here? Yeah, so the new unit classes. Priests tend to have high resistance and decent magic. Everything else should be relatively low, but for some reason he has high skill and speed. As for Pegasus Knights, they tend to have really high speed and high resistance, but low strength. Also, flying units are weak to bows. I don't remember how much damage it does. It either does 2 times damage or 3 times damage. So be very careful. Rescue you. Right here. No one goes to... Yeah, okay. I should be fine. here. Move forward a bit. Have Ross talk to Garcia. And the next class we're talking about is Fighter. They tend to have high HP and high strength. And low resistance, I think? I actually don't remember their stats completely. I think they had decent skill and speed. I'm pretty sure they're like glass cannons, so like okay defense but low resistance. Level 4 fighter. Yeah, I'll heal him. Just in case. So I've mentioned that Seth is a tier 2 class. Oh wait, Paladin is a tier 2 class. Every single unit, almost every single unit I currently have is a tier 1. So Lord is tier 1, Cavalier, Knight, Pegasus Knight, Priest, and Fighter. All of these are tier 1 classes. Tier 2 are basically... They're basically like evolved forms of classes we currently have. So Paladin is an evolved form of Cavalier. But then there's Ross over here, who is a Journeyman. He is a super weak unit. And... What is it? There's a term for it. Ross is a trainee. Even though it says Journeyman, he's technically a trainee. Or is that an archetype? Once again, there's some stuff I don't know. The reason why I'm talking about tier numbers is because Ross over here is technically speaking a tier 0 unit. He is so weak that you shouldn't even bother using him at all, but if you do decide to train him up, he has an insane amount of potential. For now, I'll put everyone forward. And I want Eirika to buy a sword, because I don't want her to use the rapier too much. Okay. I do plan on using Rex though, because he tends to be really, really good according to what I've read and what I've personally experienced. I should axe. Deal 12, 7 left over. This is quite the pickle. Does she have a javelin? She does. Deal 7. Finish it? No, you can't. Okay. That means I have no choice but to... He doesn't throw an axe, so I just gotta wait here. Oh, I forgot about Franz. So I can move him forward, finish him off. And he'll fight the next incoming bandits. According to the wiki, I did look this up. Characters like Ross are considered trainees, despite the unit class being called journeyman. And there's a grand total of 3 trainees you can find throughout this game. Do you reach? Go here, you go here. The space next to branch is safe. I want to go to the village before they destroy, like, how they destroyed this one over here. Gilliam is hurt. Hold on, can you move there? No, you cannot. Oh wait, you can move there. Currently, the only unit that cannot fight back is Mulder, the priest, since he can only use stabs. Yep, okay. Shouldn't be able to attack. Actually, that doesn't seem like a bad idea. I can have Eirika beat this bandit over here, and then have Franz and Vanessa team up against the archer. Yeah, wait a minute. Oh, but if one of them missed, Vanessa's dead. That's the problem. I'll just have Vanessa distract the bandits over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you even hit that? Yeah, no, I expected much. How much damage? You deal 11. France will be fine. They're not gonna go for France yet. I have no choice. I need to get rid of this guy. I would have much preferred if you get the XP, but I don't have much of a choice here. Or wait a minute, I can just block him off. Right? Gilliam sit here. That's the peak, so it probably does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I will have her meet with the villagers. Have Mulder go... what was there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. I don't want him to go all the way back to the point where he can't heal anyone. Sure. They don't throw anything. This looks perfectly fine. Right? I don't want Ross to die. He has so much potential. Alright. I just realized I put way too much trust into Eirika. If both of the bandits hit her, that was game over. Okay, let's see. You go 15, 15, 15, 14, 13, 12. Hold on. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 7, 6, right? Right? That was a calculation. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, so the terrain you stand on with your unit will also increase their defense. Look at the thing at the bottom right. Increases your evasion, defense, depending on whatever you stand on. So if he stands here, he would take 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 8, 7, 6. So that's 6, 6, 2, 14 damage in total. If he just stands here. Yeah, I want to get rid of this archer. It's a pain in the butt. And I'll have Seth block this off. Now you idiots can't get in anymore. Now what to do about this guy? How much damage do you take? 10 damage, no crits. So I can use Vanessa as a shield. Yeah, she'll be fine. Oh, but if the attack lands, that's the issue. Nothing there, right? Yep, nothing. Want her to get levels. Of course you missed. My luck is off. I don't know how, but my luck is always cursed. Then I'm gonna have Garcia stand as a barricade. Then have him sit next... No, wait. Below the priest. Oh yeah, I forgot. Weapon advantage. Okay. I could use that to my advantage. I'll play it safe and just sit here. Then 4. I really want to give Vanessa more levels, but I don't want to risk anything. I'm in a very dangerous situation already. If I get another strength, oh my goodness. Strength, skill, luck. Holy crap. She has so much strength. Oh my goodness. This is almost the highest amount of strength I've ever gotten with Eirika so far. In my previous 2 runs, she went all the way up to 9 strength at level 11. She's level 5 and 8 strength. If she goes beyond, if she reaches double digits, holy crap, she might be the best unit I have. Okay. I can't move past. We'll just wait. Nice. I don't think it finishes the map if I defeat the boss. Right? Yeah, no, it's defeat all enemies. I didn't look at the top right. Okay. Then Francis is gonna fight the bandit, and I'm gonna do a little something in a second. Buy him an axe. Should be good. Nice, nice. By the way, the worst stats you can get from a level up is like 1 point and probably HP. Actually, no, the absolute worst is getting nothing at all, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Peak, planes, Damn, I was gonna do something with Ross, but I don't think it's gonna work. I'll finish it off with Vanessa. Okay.